that. And the first guest we invite to share is Philip Austin. He's with NGK, and they have a new program. When I went out to Apex, and Apex TV had me going around filming on Thursday, and John had already left, so he wasn't there with me. And we walked up to NGK, and lo and behold, they had this great big sign up that said Shop Squad. And, you know, I pretty much know a lot of the stuff that's going on in the industry, a lot of the training that you can do online. And I had no idea what Shop Squad was. And I was like, Shop Squad? So Philip, tell us your title, and then talk a little bit about Shop Squad and how y'all are going back to the way it used to be on trying to reach out and do some training.
All right. So here we go. Yes, I'm Philip Austin of NGK Spark Plugs. I manage the technical training and development program for North America and Canada. So we have a dedicated trainer that's in Canada, and we're growing our team because this whole Shop Squad concept is basically, we understand that you use our sensors and our ignition coils and our spark plugs. We feel that we're responsible for following up on training in those categories. So we wanted to not just go out and conduct training, but create a community. Whoever we train or connected with, we want them to be part of this community, because we kind of see ourselves in this Shop Squad environment to come out and support where the needs are. Those that are still in the field are well supported. Now, our strategy is pretty interesting. We're not reaching out to the A and A plus guys. We done our research and we realized that the B and the B plus are the ones that are, or even the C plus, that everyone within that category is trying to reach that A level when it comes to drivability and diagnostics, is suddenly, from our research, is being lost in the mix here, right? So we want to dedicate most of our training and focus on those individuals where we're giving 2.5 hours of training in the evening, because we don't believe anything going over 3 hours, we don't have your attention anyway. So we want to be able to give information that's going to help you go back and look at things differently from a troubleshooting perspective, and being able to make use of the scan tools, the scopes that you are currently using, and really create a network where we communicate, follow up, share waveforms, data PIDs together, all within this community. So that's what the Shop Squad concept and community is all about. It's brand new, and through our training program, we understand that there's 3 different ways of learning, whether you guys want to come to an in-person class or go online or even attend a webinar. We want to just be able to conduct training in either one of those methods, and then follow up through the community and the Shop Squad interaction, whether it's on Facebook, where I'm on Facebook with some of you guys, and we're able to share information and give ideas of future classes, and share if you have a data PID screen from a particular scan tool that you like to share, known goods, waveforms, things of that nature. We just want to stay all connected and support the technicians. Now, one of the things that we've just added, and I'm not sure if can I share my screen for a moment?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I just want to show you all the classes that we have designed. All right, cool.
And
Nice.
let me break in there just a little there. If you go to the shopsquadonline.com, you register into their system, and then you have the option at that point to take 4 different mini classes where you can get certification. And it kind of teaches you, like, okay, this is stuff that your basic tech, where he's talking to C tech. A lot of the questions I see out there is, how do I bring in a new guy, a young guy, one that doesn't know that much? And then they take these basic ones and they get a certificate, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, Well, then if you go into their training that's available, it's like amazing. Like he says, you get into, because it's just NGK is also NTK, and it's not just the spark plug, it's the oxygen sensors, it's all of the sensors that they supply. And so all of a sudden that training is now available online for your basic guys to take. And it's not like they're going into a 2.5-hour class and going, oh my gosh, they're overwhelmed. So it's a great deal to start someone.
Yeah, great. Yeah, you guys can still see my screen. This is an example of what Jeff was referring to, and you can enroll in any of the courses. So, this is separate from obviously the in-person training that we do, and it's complimentary of it, where you can go and follow up on similar service manager, similar subject matter. Now, keep in mind, there's 2 learning paths. There's learning paths for parts pros. We want to keep them educated as well, but the other learning path is strictly for service pros. So when you come onto our dashboard, you could separate yourself and whether you want to learn about both or just stay on the service pro side where there's technical classes that are delivered there. So it's all through the whole shop squad
He
network.
already did. Brian put it in. Hey, Gary from Florida is asking, is this training free?
We don't like that word because somebody's paying for it somewhere, some way. So
and that would be NGK. NGK,
we're paying for it because we have a philosophy that we're assuming that you're buying up whenever you fix a car that you're choosing NGK. So we're sold on that understanding that this comes from a supportive angle of you supporting us. So whoever the part suppliers that you're buying NGK product from, we're partnering with them to make it cost effective for you.
Love the way you ran with that ball. That's good. Good statement. I like it, Philip.
Well, and the other story that I picked up at Apex was actually you've shifted some of your sponsorships into this program, because this is actually more valuable to the shop owners and to the techs, because if you can get the proper training, then we're talking about less comebacks, we're talking about less warranty work. And
Exactly.
so it's a dual purpose. And like I said, they've actually shifted some of their sponsorships that they were doing into your budget, correct?
Yeah, so we have 2 parts of the program in which, yes, through various parts, suppliers and organizations, if they want to be able to have sponsor NGK training and then they'll network out whatever the cost is for their people to come and have dinner. But there's also a non-sponsored road through where we will start conducting standalone Shop Squad events, where if you're registered with us with Shop Squad and we find your name and your information when you come in as an attendee and sign in, then there's no cost for that because you're part of our community. So, and that gives you benefits of attending any one of these classes that I have laid out here. So like Mastering the Difference is a shop management class that we would offer through either channel, whether it's sponsored by a parts supplier or association or just a standalone Shop Squad community event, or technical training topics here. Now, one thing I just want to explain about our technical training topics, whenever we can't get out and do the research on our own and beta tests, we rely on drivability diagnostic mobile techs. We partner with some of the industry leading educators that are a hybrid of both, because we believe those that are closest to looking in certain areas where we could go out and teach how to be more effective through the eyes or the lenses of a mobile tech that is really strict on their time and very precise on their diagnostic approach. So sharing those type of walkthrough case studies is what's the core of our program. And we try to keep it to 2.5 hours. So that's
cool. So you're giving a whole lot of meat to that subject. I had a good friend of mine that's on this podcast just texted me, said the last class he was in was an NGK class. This guy's a top-notch guy, okay? And he also says that's the best class he attended in a long time. Here, look at him wave. Hey, now, Scott Garrett's a good friend of mine. He is probably the oldest person in the auto parts selling industry that's just retired.
Yes, I
He's
did.
out.
I retired over an hour ago.
And
But we get the modern ignition 2.0 class a month and a half ago, and we had 42 people attend, and the majority of them were L1 masters. And it was such a good class because the instructor wasn't a salesman. He was like the tech line guy, and nobody could stump him. He knew everything he was talking about and all the different plugs and the different stuff. And then we'd had the coil-on plug deal before, and guys, forget the entry level guys. Your main guys got to come to these classes as far as NGK goes, because it takes it to that next level. I mean, I don't work on cars. I've been doing it forever, but at the same time, you watch those guys' faces and you're like, oh, he just stumped that guy, and that guy's 60 years old, you know. And then the younger guy the same way. So anyway, more than just GSs, you gotta get your masters in there as well.
And see, that's the great thing to hear and to know about. And it's like when they show up, you had 41 there. That's part of our responsibility, is if they show up to do a class, we need to get the folks there.
Tell everybody we love to come to this class.
And you know, if you got to pay them their wage for an hour, 2 hours, you know, that's what needs to be done, because that's part of, you know, what we need to correct in our industry.
Guys,
Philip,
the parts people have to come too.
Yeah.
It is it's so informative as far as when a guy that either answers the phone or the sales guy can give a service writer or service advisor some quick tips on diag. It's priceless. And it is absolutely priceless.
well, and then too, that helps, you know, when the customers come in and, you know, you're not diagnosing their car, but you're able to understand what parts you're selling. And so, and Philip, you also offer some webinars there that's 1 hour. And we talked earlier, and we're going to have some more talks about getting them on to do a 1 hour webinar with us. And so we so much appreciate you sharing your screen and showing. And if the guys would go to that, this screen here, is that available on NGK training? What is that?
Yes, so this all through Shop Squad. So once they enter on shopsquadonline.com, and I'll type that in the chat as well, it opens up the door for access to everything that we have. So it will show the in-person training and webinar topics. And if you're interested on going to one of these, just send us some communication on that, and we'll also have a post board or of some future activities that we're going to be doing and training. For instance, one main collaboration that we have is with Autel. We've been part of some of the Autel chat rooms on Facebook, and we realize there's a large community of Autel users that have not completely mastered their 919 or their Maxi scan tool and the different scope capabilities and scan tool enhanced bidirectional control. So NGK teamed up with Autel, and we're going to have 6 webinars throughout the year with Autel on that. So if you're within the community, you'll get a email on that information as well.
Great, thank you so much. And again,
Post that link in the chat. Don't forget.
We have a question there. I'm looking at the wrong place. I only see 4 or 5 classes. They go to the main one, and then they go into the catalog or the resources there.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So
okay.
Yeah, so either you're going to go on the on-demand portal, but first you want to join. right here, and it's Shop Squad Online, and we just collect some basic information from you. You know, your name and the name of the shop, right? You know, and once you're in this, then we'll and you could just put my name in there, so they could kind of track where you were able to get this information from as far as the field rep and group code. You could just put in NGK training. But once you're in, you'll be able to get all these communications and know what's happening and when it's happening. So these 6 webinars with Ortel will broadcast out to you, and if you want to attend, we'll get that set up. And any future webinars that we partner with the J&J show, we'll also post too. And if you
All right.
Okay.
Pretty soon we'll be a field rep.
So let's close that out of that screen and continue on. And Philip, I believe, is going to hang around at the end if you have some questions. You know, we try to go till 8 and then finish out with some questions. And now let's switch up.
Guys, real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
You know, the older guys like John Firm, a lot of those guys, they really resist the webinars. And so the company that I just retired from, XL Auto Parts, and then I was 21 years with O'Reilly's. We offer a lot of training classes, and there's a lot of guys that cannot do the webinar, but can do the in-class stuff better. And with that said, not to tout NGK, but I was extremely impressed with the 2 classes we did in the last 2 years with them, with the instructor, because the instructor wasn't a sales guy. He wasn't like me. He knew what he was talking about. He could tear it down. He knew. I mean, you weren't going to stump him. So anyway, not to interrupt you guys, I thought about that.
Brag a little bit more about NGK stuff. Love it.
No, and that's the whole idea on this concept that we're doing is anybody can hop in and share.